Hello, it's Ken here from Shop3D.ca. Today we're going to be doing a webinar series on the Bambu X1 series, which will include the X1E right over here and the X1C, which stands for carbon. Now we're going to be hearing from some of our staff in terms of how they like to use the product, as well as a product demonstration and best practices for the Bambu series. This is a fantastic printer lineup that we're bringing to you from Shop3D.ca, so let's get into it. So let's talk about some of the external features of the X1E. Now remember, the X1C version looks pretty much exactly the same, and it's the same size, but it's going to have a little bit of a different color scheme, and some of the internal features are different. But for the X1E, we have the AMS up here. That's included in the package for the X1E, and the AMS, you can hold 4 spools of material in there. These are 1 kilogram spools that we have in there. If you have Bambu filament, it'll actually have an RFID inside where the AMS will detect what filament is being loaded. There's also desiccant that you can put into the AMS to keep all of your filaments dry. So if you're using nylon or PLA, it's a great way to keep your filament in there for storage. If you're not using it for a while, it should keep the humidity intact. With the AMS, it can actually self-select materials for use as well. So if you wanted to do a print with 4 different colors, it can access all of the 4 different materials in there. You can technically add an AMS hub as well and have up to 16 different colors. But of course, if you're doing that, that's going to increase the amount of time that you're going to be needing to print dramatically because you're using and swapping so many colors at once. So most of the time, we see people using up to 4 colors inside the AMS since it fits in there. As well, you see that this printer is fully enclosed, and that's really important because the X1E version has a heated chamber. So with the heated chamber, that allows you to print with more high temperature materials like ABS, nylon, polycarbonate without some of that filament cracking. And it's especially important if you're printing with larger prints, because you'll see more uneven cooling if you don't have a heated chamber. So I can kind of open the door for you here. This is a nice glass door, and it does have sensors for not only the door, but there is a top door as well. If you don't have the AMS on top, you can actually remove the AMS and open the top door as well. It has a fantastic touchscreen that you can access and use all of your different functions from the touchscreen, and there is a micro SD card holder right onto the side as well, so that if you don't want to use Wi-Fi or Ethernet, you can use the SD card. And inside, you'll see that there's a 250 millimeter by 250 millimeter build volume, and we also have a magnetic bed. Then in the back, with the X1E version, unlike the X1C, there is an Ethernet port as well. So it's got Wi-Fi, micro SD card, and Ethernet for you to use. In the X1C, there is no Ethernet port. And the enterprise version really supports more Wi-Fi security features as well as Ethernet and connectivity options versus the X1C. So that's kind of the exterior of the printer. It also has some fantastic new features that we don't see in some other brands, such as lidar detection. It can detect how well your first layers are going down. And it has a lot of different hot ends and different plates that you can use for different types of materials. So most of the plates that you have in there are magnetic, so you can just bend them. And you can pop your prints off, and you can choose between textured plates and smooth plates, depending on what material you use. The X1C and the X1E will actually come with hardened steel hot ends as well. So you can start printing with carbon fiber and composite materials right away without changing any of the hot ends. So it's going to come with that option as well. So that about covers it for some of the features of the X1E. And again, the X1C is very similar to this unit as well, with some fewer features versus the X1E. We're going to actually go into a deep dive of the differences between the two units, and Pooja, who is our account specialist, is going to be talking to us about how to demonstrate running a print on this printer and how easy that process is. And then we'll talk to Cha a little bit later about an application that he has for this printer specifically. So let's get into it.
Hi all, this is Pooja from Shop3D. So today I'm going to take you over the demonstration of the Bambu X1E printer. So here I have a Bambu Lab Maker World, for which I'm going to print today the multicolor. So quickly let's go and find one multicolor. Maybe I'm going to take this one, the Sleeping Snoopy. Yeah. So once we are here in the Maker World, so I'm just going to quickly go and download, or I'm just going to go open it in the Bambu Studio. So once I import it to the Bambu Studio, so it's going to take a minute, so it will be opened up in the our Bambu Studio. So I have already linked my account of Bambu X1E with this Bambu Studio. So once I open it up here, so you will see the Snoopy, the Sleeping Snoopy over here. So it's ready with all the colors. I have already installed the red color, white color, as well as the black in my AMS system. So I'm gonna just change over here from P1S, because the default it was P1S. I'm gonna just change it to my printer, Bambu X1E with the 0.4 nozzle, and change this one to the textured PEI plate. And I'm just going to keep it with the default setting, no changing anything. So I'm just going to go and quickly slice it up. So once we have sliced up, it shows the time, how much it takes, and the filaments which are all there, and how many times it's going to change. And once we have this, we can just print it to the printer. I'm just sending it to the printer now. So here is the one which is there in my printer. So A2 is the red color, A3 is PLA white, and then A4 is with the PLA black. So everything looks good to me. If you want, if we can switch on the time lapse, if you want to record the video and flow dynamics, of course, and then just send it. It may take a minute. So once we send it, you can see it on the display of the X1E, and it starts. So here you can see it's already uploaded with the print. So I have the printer, the filaments over here, and it's just started the print. So now it is just prepping up the printer with the cooling chamber and bed leveling, and once it does the calibration flow, then it is good to go, and then it starts its print. So I'm just open it up just to show you and just close it. So once we have sent in the file, so here in the Bambu Studio, it also has a live camera monitor. So you can also click it. If you're away from the printer, you can see what it's doing. So initially now it is doing its calibration and the flow dynamics. So now it's showing it is like a heat bed preheating stage. So once it is done, it will go into the final printing. So once we have already uploaded and you have already seen that the printer is loading the filament, so it's okay to go away, and also you can live monitor it from the phone as well as from the studio, and from here it will take over. So once it has cleaned up the nozzle and loaded for the filament for the first time, it's going to move to the auto bed leveling. So now it is doing the bed leveling, you can see. Basically what it is doing now, it's moving all around the build plate from stepwise, from the front to the back, from left to the right, and just setting up the bed level to see if it is in level to get initiated with the print. Once the auto bed leveling is done, it goes to the most advanced AI LiDAR, which is being integrated to the Bambu printers. So now basically it is doing is calibrating. So it prints different lines, and whichever line is a very comes out to be in perfect without any cuts. So that line it gonna take and consider it as the very extruded very well, and then it's gonna sense it that line, and then it takes that line and then proceed to the final printing. As the base level is red color, so it started printing with the red. So now you can see it's already started the print, but here I'm gonna conclude my demo on the X1E. So you can see here it shows around 7 hours approximately. So previously I've already printed one for you guys to show. So here it is like a multicolor print, the red color, white as well as the black color. So if you print one color, then it shows you around 7 hours, but if you do a batch production of multiple ones, like approximately around 10, then it may be around same hour, like 7 to 8 hours. So we recommend to do it a batch production if you're doing a multicolor print. I hope you liked the demo today on X1E. Next up, we're gonna have a Cha from technical department who's gonna present to you the use case.
Hey guys. My name's Cha. I work in the technical department here at Shop3D. Today I'm here to talk about a use case that I've recently received to produce certain giveaways for our marketing team. So we had a very tight deadline. It was about a week out from when the event was going to happen, and we had to produce 120 of these giveaways for students K-12. To engage with. The giveaways are meant as teaching aids for what 3D printing can offer, and they were expected to be relatively high in engagement with the students. So we decided to make some multicolor prints with the Bambu Labs X1C and X1E units. So at the time, I only had one Bambu Labs printer all working, and in order to meet the deadline, we had to do a couple of things. We had to make sure that the model can be printed relatively quickly. We wanted multiple colors so that it would offer high engagement for the students that were taking them, and we wanted to have relatively good quality. So, you know, in terms of presentation, people aren't looking at it wondering why the surface quality might be diminished. And these are all sort of criterias that I think the X1C and the X1 series printers meet. So, given the time constraints, quickly we chose a model on MakerWorld, which is Bambu Labs' repository for 3D models, and I decided to utilize the X1 series' capability of printing multicolor filaments by mixing different colors of PLA together. We ultimately chose kit cards. These are cute little kit cards of Minecraft characters that I found. And they go from anywhere between like 2-color kit cards to 4-color kit cards. And anybody that's ever printed with multicolor prints before know that one, it is relatively more time consuming to print multicolor. Two, there can be excess waste in terms of filament purge and filament purge towers. So in order to minimize these two concerns, what we do is we'll just take the kit cards and we'll print multiples of them on a single build plate. And by putting multiples, we ended up with 10 to 12 kit cards per build plate. And each build plate will take anywhere between 3.5 hours to 6 hours. And so we can schedule around this, we were able to accomplish 3 build plates per day at 10 to 12. You're averaging around 30 to 35 kit cards per day, and which meant that we were able to meet our deadline within about 4 days, with even a little bit of leniency heading up to the deadline. The other thing that really helped with this process, I found when I was using the X1 series, was that the AI monitoring system, it just alleviates a lot of stress associated with possible print failures and possible bad layer adhesion. The AI monitoring basically allows us to walk away with a peace of mind, come back once the print is done, and move forward in our process. And so we were able to meet our deadline. We finished printing the kit cards with relatively little to no post-processing, and headed off to the event. We gave the kit cards out to the kids, who were very happy to receive them and learn about 3D printing. So overall, I would say the project was a success. And we couldn't have done it without these Bambu X1 series printers. Yeah, so the AI monitoring feature is a really nice icing on the cake. On top of that, we did meet our deadline. We had given out the 120 giveaways for each class of students, who were very excited to receive the giveaways and play with the kit cards and putting them together, and also gives us a chance to engage with the students, which, thanks to the X1 series printers, we're able to meet our deadline, produce an engaging market material, and overall, I think the project was a great success. We had accomplished our goals by producing the 120 giveaways for the students. The students were very excited to receive the giveaways, and with the reliability, with the speed, and the multicolor functionality of the X1 series, we were able to meet our tight deadline and our goals relatively with little to no stress. And all this is to thank the X1 series from Bambu Labs.
So now we're back. Ken here again with Shop3D, and we're going to go through some best practices for the Bambu X1 series. I have, of course, Pooja with me, and we're going to talk about some of the best practices working with the printer. Pooja has been working with the printer for how long now?
It's more than 6 months for
More
me.
than 6 months?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a brand new printer. We've had it for more than 6 months. So she's learned a lot using the printers. So let's dive into it. So Pooja, I want to talk a little bit about loading and unloading filament. What are some tips that you have for us in terms of filament choice and loading and unloading?
So when it comes to the loading and unloading, we saw a couple of issues when we are using the cardboard filaments. So we recommend using the plastic spools. We know if you're using the third-party materials, they are coming up with the new cardboard spools. But if you're doing multiple color prints, then it is best recommended to use the plastic spools. And if you're doing just the single print, you can just use one. And if you're using the AMS, it is recommended to keep the AMS lid open when you're doing the print.
And is this only restricted to the AMS? What if you're using it with a spool holder?
So if you're using a spool holder, like I said, if you're doing just one color print, then it is good to go. But if you're doing multiple color prints, then it is recommended to use the plastic spools, because it had to go a long time, and the multiple color prints have a longer time than the single print time.
Gotcha. And in terms of using the external spool, is there any other materials that you would recommend that is better to use externally versus on the AMS?
So when it comes to the printing with the elastic filaments like the TPU, we recommend it to use the external spool, because we tried it to print with the AMS. We had some issues, and it took a lot of time to actually get back to. So we recommend using an external spool. They also provide an external holder, so we can just put it on the back of the printer, and then screw it and then load the filament from the back, and then it's good to go.
That's a good tip. Now I want to talk about hot ends because there's a lot of options for hot ends, different sizes and different types of hot ends. First of all, can you explain what types of hot ends are available and also what materials we should be using for each type of hot end?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different hot ends for the different printers, like X1E and X1C. As you all know, it is not compatible. So X1C also and X1E comes with the stainless steel as well as the hot end filaments. If you are printing the basic PLA, PETG, ABS, it is recommended to use the stainless steel, like 0.6 or 0.4 is fine. And if you're doing the high temp materials such as the carbon fiber, PAHT, PETG-CF or the PA-CF, then it is recommended to use the 0.6 hardened steel. Why? The reason is because we tried to use it with the 0.4 hardened steel, we got in clogging issues. So it is recommended to better use a 0.6 hardened steels for the high temp materials.
Makes a lot of sense. So the higher your fiber count for your composites, make sure you use a larger diameter so it flows through the nozzle a little bit quicker.
Yeah, right.
So Pooja, since we're on the theme of talking about materials and we talked about the different build plates that we have, textured, smooth, and so on, can you talk a little bit about what build plate we should be using for which type of material and what circumstance?
Yeah. Bambu provides 4 different types of build plates: the smooth, the textured, engineering plate, and the cool plate. So the engineering plate and cool plates are basically more for the printing PLA, PETG, TPU, or just the PET kind of materials. If you want to print something like a high temp materials like ABS, the carbon fiber materials like the PAHT, then it is mostly recommended to use the high temp build plates, especially the textured and the smooth. So there is no much difference between those build plates. It's just the surface, but both act as the same.
So I guess there's a little bit of preference whether you like the texture or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of what it comes with, what does the X1C and E come with for build plates?
So the X1C comes with the one side on the engineering plate and other side the cool plate, which is basically for the PLA and the PETG. And the one X1E comes along with the textured build plate.
Awesome. So I had another question, and it involves talking about the build plate as well, but I'm really impatient. Once a print is done, I want to take it out and use it right away. But is there like a best practices guide on how long I should wait before I take that print out and bend that build plate?
Yeah. So Bambu, it's pretty good. So as soon as it is done, we can actually take out the build plate and flip it and then remove the prints. But it is recommended to have a little bit cool down the prints so that you can have it easily removed, because of it will cool down and the supports and the print along with it comes out very easily. So if you do very quickly, immediately, then you may see some failure, but till now we did not see any failure. So it is based upon how you do, but it is recommended to wait for 1 to 2 minutes and then open the prints.
Awesome. Okay, I think those are some great guides for best practices. Why don't we get into the FAQs?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
All right, Pooja, let's talk about some frequently asked questions that we've been asked by our customers.
Yeah.
So I guess we should do a bit of back and forth. It's not all fair that you do all the answering. But what I'll do is I'll start by asking you the first question, and then we can answer some of these questions because I know this is what's burning on the minds of a lot of people who are considering that system. So let's get into it. What does the X1C and X1E's configuration come with?
So X1C is the X1C, just the X1C, and the X1C combo comes along with the X1C with the AMS and the 3 spools, like the sample spools are approximately 500 grams, and the main difference between the X1C and the X1E is like X1E by default comes along with the AMS system.
Okay, so there you have it, X1E, only combos. The next one is pretty simple as well, but we kind of touched on it during our overview, but what are the biggest differences between the X1C and X1E?
Yeah, this is the most asked question, even though it is like being informed a lot of times, but I'm gonna briefly tell you the main difference. The X1E comes along with the heated chamber which can go up till 60 degrees and has a bigger air filter than the X1C, and also has the Ethernet or the LAN port, and because of that it can have the higher security protocols.
Yeah, so that's usually things that are bonus and extra, especially for enterprises, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'll give you an opportunity to ask me a question now.
Yeah, so following to that question, Ken, so why is X1E is best recommended for which filament to print?
Sure. So what we've in our testing, what we've tried is hotter filaments of the X1E. The hot end can actually go 20 degrees higher than the X1C. So if you're printing with nylons, polycarbonates, high temperature nylons with carbon fiber, those would be very suitable for the X1E. The heated chamber really keeps a more consistent temperature so that, you know, larger prints of that, you don't see cracking in between the layers as it cools and warps. So I would say ABS, nylon, polycarbonate would be some of the best materials to print with the X1E.
This sounds good. Yeah.
And my turn to ask you, is it necessary to apply glue to the textured or smooth plate when printing?
Yeah. So both the smooth and textured perform very well when it comes to the basic filaments like PLA, PETGs, TPU, ABS. Not the ABS. So when it comes to the ABS and the high temp filaments, it is recommended to use the glue stick because of to prevent the warping. So it is recommended, but yeah.
Okay, and just to follow up to that, and this you might have explained it before, but what is the main difference between the smooth and textured plates?
Yeah, there is not much difference, like I already told. The main difference is like what are your preference. If you like smooth texture, then you go with the smooth, and if you like the textured on the base of your prints, then you just go with the textured.
Yeah, and just as an example, you know, we used a texture surface when we made some coasters for ourselves, and that seems to not slide as much around the table, so that worked for us. But realistically, either would have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so I would have one question for you as well, Ken. Regarding the X1E, most of the people ask, can we just have the X1E without the AMS?
So I think we've answered that before, but the X1E only comes as a combo. It's kind of like the premium kit, so they expect you to use it with the AMS, and honestly the AMS is really good. It's one of the primary reasons to get a Bambu in the first place. So no, it only comes as a combo, but it's a pretty darn good combo. And my turn to ask you a question. What hot end do you recommend to print carbon fiber materials?
Yeah, so for the carbon fiber, it is like straightforward. Use the hardened steel 0.6 mm so that you prevent any clogging, because we used previously 0.4 hardened steel, but it had issues of the clogging. So we recommend go ahead with the 0.6.
And just a follow up to that, if I were to print TPU material, what should I be doing?
So if you're using a TPU material, do not use the AMS. Use it as on the external spool. So external spool is like you just get an external spool holder from the printer itself. It is included in the accessory box. So you can just put it into the backside of the printer and then just load your filament from the externally, not using the AMS system. Because we also had some issues while loading with the AMS system due to the elastic properties.
Yeah, I think it's just easier for the pathway of the filament, instead of going through the AMS and through the tubes, it just goes directly into the printer. Now, if I were to follow this question up and say PVA, it's a little bit newer, it's a material that Bambu just released, but we've been printing with PLA for a while. What should we be doing with printing with PVA?
Yeah, so PVA is recommended to use along with the AMS. It doesn't have any issues, but it is mostly recommended to dry it every time you print it. Even if you open it from a box, I have tried it, it works, but for the alternative for the next prints, it is recommended to print for around approximately 4 to 5 hours and then start the print.
Awesome.
Yeah. So following to that question, Ken, regarding the X1E, most of the people say it is not available in the Bambu website. So do you, the question is like, do you always carry the spares and accessories of the X1E?
Yeah, great question. The X1E is reseller only. It's meant for enterprises, so usually enterprises want that extra support, which you can get with a reseller, especially one that's local to where that enterprise is located. We do carry not only the X1Es, but we carry specific build plates, different hot ends. The X1C and X1E hot ends are not compatible with each other, so we do carry both sets of hot ends that are available, and we do carry accessories just for the X1E. And if it's not on our website, you can also ask us, because we don't list every single part on our website because sometimes it gets a little bit confusing when you search. But we do have access as a full distributor for Bambu to be able to get any X1E accessories and components.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Now, if I were to print on this printer, can multiple users use this printer at the same time? Because I know, especially some enterprises, they might be sharing this amongst a couple of engineers on the engineering team. How would that work from a workflow perspective?
The printers can be logged into the single account, but multiple users can have an access with the same account. So it can allow multiple connections, but it needs to have a single account logged in.
Okay, that makes sense. So there could be a dedicated computer or a dedicated station just for that printer, or fleet of printers if they wanted to. In terms of what kind of maintenance, this is a question that we get often, but you know, people are pretty familiar with the maintenance schedules of some of our other printers like Ultimakers, but Bambu being a little bit newer, what's maintenance like on these printers?
So when it comes to the maintenance of the printers, people usually ask where to do it, when to do it, and how to do it. So if you go into the Bambu Lab guides of the maintenance, they will tell you the periodic maintenance, but we also recommend to do it monthly to the guides, the reeling rods, and the Z-axis, the lead screws. So it's just basically you have to use the cloth, clean it, and then use the grease or the lubricant which has been provided with the accessory box which is included in the printer.
Sounds good. So basic maintenance, just clean it up and re-lube it again, and it should be good to go.
Yeah. So I have a last question for you, Ken.
Sure.
So when it comes with the printers, people often ask about the warranty. So do you want to elaborate more upon how we provide the warranty, as well as the when they face any issues, and whom they reach out, whether they reach out directly to the Bambu or they have to come to us?
Fantastic question. So buying from a reseller like Shop3D.ca is a little bit different than buying from Bambu, and in a lot of ways you get a lot more benefit. So first off, we actually certify our X1C and X1E units that we sell here. So they are compliant with ESA and CSA certifications in Canada, which is required you know, for all printers and electronics. So that's the first step, that we provide that additional service. Secondly, we also provide an extra layer of support. So normally, if you had a problem, you would reach out to the manufacturer, you might email them and start a ticket. But we actually have a first line of defense for you. You can, if you buy your printer from us, you can call us directly. We have Cha and his team of techs available to answer your question right away. We're open 9 to 5, and we also have a Vancouver team that does a similar thing as well. So you know, whether you're on the east or west side of Canada, you're going to be able to get some phone support or even in-store support if you come into the store or if you call us. So that's, you know, free and included with any purchase from us, not only Bambu but for other printers as well. But specifically for Bambu, I hear you know, that's something that's really important, because normally you'd have to email Bambu support, and sometimes that's a longer process than you expect. With us, you get an answer pretty much right away. In terms of the warranty, it's the same as Bambu, so it's a 1-year limited warranty. So if there's a defect with the printer, then we can take care of you. And if there is a defect, so what mostly happens is we will liaise with Bambu as well. So it is a manufacturer's warranty at the end. So that means that the manufacturer does make the final call in terms of how to replace things. But you have us to fight for you on your behalf, and we do have a separate channel for Bambu support. So that means if you have a problem, you talk to us. If we can't resolve that right away, or if a part needs to be replaced, we'll contact Bambu on your behalf. You'll probably get a quicker answer through our dedicated channel, and we'll be able to resolve that quickly, whether it's to send you a new part or whether Bambu sends you a replacement. That's all pretty much taken care of, and it's usually a much quicker and more painless process than going through the manufacturer's site directly.
Yeah, that's cool, because people often go to the Bambu and they don't hear it within a day, so you can directly contact us.
Absolutely. So we take that really seriously, and I think people who are getting the X1E and X1C from us will have a great perspective, not only from the warranty perspective, but they can come and talk to you, and they can ask you if this is appropriate for their application, and you can give them the honest answer.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you for attending the webinar for the X1 series Bambu printers. This is a fantastic printer, and I hope you've learned a lot from this webinar. And if you wanted to get one of these for yourself, X1C or X1E, make sure you add this printer with the coupon code below, because you'll be able to get 2 free spools of Spiral 3D PLA 1.75mm filament, which you can use right away for your Bambu series printer. So thanks again for joining us, and make sure you use the coupon code for your free gift. And that concludes our Bambu X1 series webinar. I hope you've learned a lot about the printer, but of course, if you want to see it in person, definitely stop by our showroom. We have showrooms in Mississauga and Vancouver, so you can choose one to come and see and play with the printer of your own. We do have demos in both showrooms. Otherwise, you can always book an appointment with us and do a Zoom call to deep dive your application, so we can learn about what you require for your needs and recommend the right printer for you. You can contact us by email, chat, phone, Zoom, or book an appointment for our showroom, and we'd be glad to take care of you. You can speak directly to one of our reps. You can talk to Pooja, Cha, or me about the Bambu or any other printers that we have. So thanks again for joining us, and I hope you stop by Shop3D.ca.